Okay, so this wasn't even intended to be a part of the video, but look who I found sitting at the spot. This is gonna be a good one. It's that time again. It's that time again. Time for To You with Love. Hello. So today we're going to talk about two distinct benefit ranges of meditation. Now, meditation is a multifaceted diamond of a practice, and really it has so much to offer us. However, today we're going to talk about two faces of that multifaceted diamond. Face number one, meditation's ability to help fortify us to live a life that is robust, dynamic, fulfilling, and vivid. Facet number two is meditation's ability to help us let go of all of that at the appropriate times. Now, what do I mean by the really exciting first part, and what do I mean by the kind of daunting, scary part? Well, you're in the right place. I'm here to tell you. So, meditation helps us to recognize possibilities that we normally wouldn't. And how does it do that? Well, for one, it helps by growing the centers of the brain, like thickening the gray matter of the prefrontal cortex, and shrinking the amygdala. And you shrink the amygdala, and that's the fear, fight, or flight response center of the brain. And you thicken the gray matter in that sweet prefrontal cortex, because that's where you have all of your creative thinking, your higher communication, so being able to really listen, not just to a person, but to the environment and the world around you. That's where you're going to have a pretty much all cylinders firing for getting into flow state. Every mental state that is conducive to living a really full and awesome life will benefit and be driven by not only the prefrontal cortex, but also the other higher centers of the brain that meditation is just miracle grow for. And so in that way, it also helps you to shift your identity. And there's a lot of talk about ego death in spiritual circles, and I'm not going to weigh in too heavy on Ryan's bias here, but a lot of people seem to think that you need to murder stab the ego. And I don't think that you need to murder stab the ego. It's like, how did you get to where you are right now? Unless you're in your house. But if you're not, you probably drove, or rode a bike, or had some vehicle. Well, would you just break your vehicle on purpose before it's done serving its purpose? No. Why would you do that? And the ego is the same thing. The ego is not meant to be worshipped as the only and all be all, but at the same time, it is the vehicle through which you experience life, and you learn about not only yourself, but that which is beyond yourself. So instead of taking this car that is your ego and smashing it, maybe trick it out of it. Give it the mods, make it look really cool and drive really cool. And then when it's time to retire that car, do it with grace. And meditation helps us to do that part too, but we're not quite there yet. So going back to how meditation helps you live and lives you in a way that is very, very robust. Well, by training and developing those higher centers of the brain in a way that's rather effortless, it's very relaxing and peaceful to do it, especially when you have a technique. So check out the video. There's two now that offer techniques that you can use as templates. So as we go through this process, all of a sudden we're able to make these identity shifts and grow and inhabit states of mind that we might not have thought were possible for us, because meditation is making a vast set of possibilities that are available to us in every moment. They're making them known in this one. So the beauty of that is you're able to grow, and not grow out of the beautiful you that you already are, but create the next iteration and evolution. And really it creates itself by recognizing different sets of possibilities that, like I said, were always here, but before you wouldn't even consider. You're opening up another spectrum within your life. It's like being able to perceive colors that you couldn't in the past. And as you perceive these new possibilities, you also perceive yourself as someone who is worthy of and capable of entertaining these possibilities. And not only entertaining them, but running with them. It helps you to grow into the expression of yourself that is not weighed down by doubt. It helps you to dissolve previous limiting self-beliefs and stories, and let go of misplaced anger and silly beefs that we have that are really just tying us to bricks while we're trying to swim. And so, with all that weight off of you, and with all this new capacity freed up, you grow into the most beautiful and fulfilling version of your life that you want and that you deserve. And that in a really kind of non-linear way, you have right now. So meditation really helps us to see what's already here and access it. Okay, now it's time to talk about the scary, daunting part. Number 2, meditation also helps us to let go. Once you've built your dream life, there will come times where certain elements of that dream life meet their time. And eventually there will come a time when our lives, in our bodies and minds as we know them, have their time. And while we could just sweep that under the rug and ignore it for all of our lives, why not engage in a practice that not only helps you to live a life that you do not regret, but simultaneously trains a relaxed state of non-attachment? Because that's exactly what meditation does. It's a really sweet, happy medium, because as opposed to having to take up a very disciplined monastic lifestyle, unless that's your sauce. If that's your sauce, go for it. But if it's not your sauce, it gives you this beautiful way of experiencing the ability that is non-attachment without having to live such a rigorously disciplined life. You know, you don't have to give up all of the flowers of the material world and those groovy things that we like to do, and, you know, the different sense pleasures that a lot of organized religions will throw a lot of shame around. It allows us to live a full and experienced life, and then, you know, to pass right through it without getting stuck along the way. And so, when experiences come along where you might have had an expectation, and that expectation doesn't turn out like you thought it would, you're able to flex with it and to bounce back to really equilibrium. And that equilibrium could even have undertones of joy, whereas before it might have been experienced as a lot more devastating. And let's say that happens and something comes along and you're disappointed. It might not be stripped of emotions. you might still feel sad, hurt, angry, but you'll notice that this practice gifts us with the ability to let go and relax our grip such that the devastation, the anger, the sadness, and all these things that come along, especially in the face of things not going how we plan them to, it just helps to smooth all that out, and quite frankly, for us to make gold out of it, for us to capitalize on those things and then just continue to live a dream life. So I hope that this video has been a really cool explanation of this kind of paradoxical benefit where you're able to live and build a really full material and immaterial life while also training a relaxed grip that lets go of it all and offers it up as a gift in thanks to God, the universe, whatever you feel most comfortable calling it when the time comes to make that great offering. So, this has been To You with Love, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.